Let's talk about buying the best Harley for your first Harley and what bikes you should stay away from, bikes that you should never buy as a first-time rider or first time buying a Harley Davidson. A lot of people say the Sportster is the bike you should get. It's the guaranteed first bike everybody should get. But if you're 400 pounds and you're on a Sportster, do you really think that's going to end up well? You're way too big for that bike. Today, we're going to break down what is the bike for you. What bike should you buy? What should be your first Harley? Let's get into it. Big shout to the Ghosts and the Ghost Sets. Welcome to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture, where we cover everything motorcycle and motorcycle club involved. I'm Sos the Ghost. I'm your host for the evening. And now, because on the East Coast is going into riding season, it is not freezing to death anymore. A lot of people have been hitting me up. What is the best first Harley to get? Let me know in the comments if you're a new buyer and you just got your first Harley. What kind of Harley did you get? And what was the first motorcycle you ever purchased? My first bike I ever bought was a Star Striker. I currently ride a Softail Slim, the greatest bike ever, the holy grail of bikes. And everybody should feel like that about their bike. Let me know in the comments what you currently ride if you're a seasoned rider. Now, the first thing I want you to think about when you're going to a Harley dealership, what kind of riding are you gonna do? Is it gonna be a lot of local riding where a smaller bike will be fine? Or if you're gonna be on the highway, mostly you work somewhere far away, a far distance, and a lot of your riding is gonna be on the bike, you're gonna need that CVO, that Road Glide. So let's break down some of the categories of the type of bikes, and then we'll figure out what's right for you, because everybody says jump on the Sportster first, and that is right for a lot of people, but not for everyone. Now, the first category is what I was talking about, the longer distance rides, the bigger bikes, the touring bikes. These are meant for comfort and long rides. They'll have large engines, cargo space. These things will have cigarette lighters, GPS. They're freaking cars. Touring bikes most of the time are cars. So those would be your electric glides, road glides, road kings. These are bigger bikes, and you got to be careful with these, because I always used to say that the Road King was my favorite bike, and I rode a brother of mine's bike for the first time a couple years ago. It's been probably like 3 years since I got on it, and I was riding a Softail for a lot of years. When I got on that bike, it was super heavy, super uncomfortable, just a way different ride. Now, the second category is what I have, and that's a Softail. I have a Softail Slim. Softails have a 2-part frame and a separate rear suspension. Hardtails have a 1-piece frame. And the thing that I love about the Softail is how low it sits and just how comfortable it is. But every bike is different and everybody's body size is different. So that's the most important thing about buying your first bike. Now, the third category is the Sportster. Now, the Sportster is made to be cheaper, lighter, easier to ride. I think more better for a beginner, depending on the size of the person. So those would be like your Iron 883, the Roadster, those kind of bikes, the smaller kind of bikes. And a lot of people live and die by these. I'm not the biggest fan of these type of bikes, but everybody's situation is different. I'm 6 foot, I'm 240. It's a different kind of situation when I get on the bike than someone else. So let's talk about you and what you do when you go to the dealership. The first thing I want you to know is that you have to sit on every bike. Look at the bikes you like, but don't just go off the look, because I've seen people do this. They get a bike that they really like the way it looks, and when they try to handle it, it sucks and they don't enjoy riding it because it's not a comfortable ride. So make sure you take that thing for a ride and you feel comfortable with it. It's kind of like riding a horse. I don't know if you've ever rode a horse before. You got to become one with the horse and move with the horse. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, if you move your head left, the horse will move his head left. A motorcycle is like that too. If you're on the highway and you're looking this way, you'll start leaning that way naturally. So when you're on that bike, you need to feel that closeness with the bike. If there's something that feels a little bit off, go with your gut. That bike is not right for you. Also, one of the most important things that I made a mistake on that I believe is very important. If you're getting this bike and you have hopes of tricking it out, because let's just be honest here, Harley Davidson, if you really want to have a souped up bike, Harley Davidson is really the only way you could go. They have so much customization. You can customize anything on a Harley Davidson. So if you have that in mind, buy the bike that is closest to finish of the way you want it. Also, it's like a double-edged sword. If you have no experience at all, like if you didn't do dirt bikes and stuff like that when you were younger, and you think you're gonna beat this one up, get a used one. Get something that you don't care about how it looks as much and beat that thing up. Get something that feels comfortable and feels light for you, that if you tip it a little bit, you'll be able to pull it back up. That's the most important thing for being a new rider. If that thing tips and it's too heavy and you're just gonna drop it, that's not the bike for you. But if you want to trick it out, buy it the closest to the way you want to ride your bike. What I did that was wrong is that I knew I wanted a blacked out bike. I should have got a Road King Special or just got the soft tail, but got it as dark as I wanted it, weighted, not rushed. A lot of people do that too. They just take what they like the best that's there. Go to different places. You don't have to force yourself to get whatever they got in the dealership. But what I did was the bike was almost all chromed out. I had to change every piece on that bike. And when I tell you, I spent over, I don't even know, maybe 50, 60 grand. I would never have spent that money if I would have bought it all in one shot. It would have never happened. I'm too cheap for that. But since the bars were a little bit lower, of course I wanted ape hangers, and that's a major thing. If you want ape hangers, make sure you get a bike that has ape hangers, because you're gonna pay 2 grand just to get them taller and the wires and everything. It's a pain in the ass. So get the bike closest to the way you want it. Now, if you're not a super heavyweight, I would say the Sportster, that class right there, is the best bike for you. If you're a really strong guy, you can go to that soft tail range. But you, like I said before, you gotta be able to handle that bike. The Sportster is very light, so if you tip a little, you can pick it back up easier. I suggest going with that. But if you're a bigger guy, if you're 400 pounds, I've seen people jump right on a road glide, and it was perfect for them because they're so big, fit them perfectly. And those bikes, they really could cruise. And if you're going on long distance, it's the it bike. I call them cars, but those road glides, those CVOs, they're made for the haul. Now, if we're talking budget, like money-wise, like let's keep it real. Everybody's not rich. Everybody doesn't have it like that. Sportsters, those kind of bikes are cheaper, probably under 10 grand. You're gonna get something nice. It might be a little bit more because Harley, you know, everything is expensive in Harley, but you could get them a lot cheaper than you could get a Softail or a Touring. But if you're trying to get a Road King or Road Glide, be ready to pay car prices. It's ridiculous how much they charge. Let me know in the comments how much you paid for your bike, but the prices that they'll hit you with are ridiculous. So you gotta pay attention to that. And you gotta also think about the long haul. If there's things that you wanna change that you really don't like about the bike, you're gonna wind up trading it in, or you're gonna wind up spending a ton of money making that bike look like what you really want it to look like. This is your bike. This is your passion. This is your dream. You sit on those bikes and you get what you like. But don't be delusional and get something that you can't handle, because you can find something more comfortable and make it look the way you want, as opposed to going down on the road because you took a bike that you couldn't handle, because you took a heavy ass road glide, and when it tipped a little bit, you panic and you get into a bad accident. Like, that's what I don't want to see y'all go through. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you have a little bit of experience, I had a brother tell me a long time ago, you start with a Fat Boy or a Softail, then you wind up trading it in and then getting the Road King, then you wind up trading it in and getting the Road Glide. So you gotta really think about what it is that you really want, where you see yourself in the long run, and plan accordingly. So I hope this helped you, and let me know in the comments what bike you ended up with. I got another video where I talk about why 1%ers will take your motorcycle. It'll be linked above. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.